for Adom TV and Asempa 94.7 FM. Oshe watch now about 3 minutes after 8 a.m. Yeah, Kwako Pim at 9:55. Then we make way. Majumadi for Ababe Twasu. And Nnawotwe way and Sembe Brena Nesi. Unim said Nnawotwe way near tis and presidency at the Betuja. Sir President, afford 3 petitions be a wenya. Ekotia the Chief Justice. I mean petitions, you know, for the removal of the Chief Justice. And or the Akwakoma the Council of State. Na Council of State ni on no president no ebedin sawaso no mahwe say asem wom anayete saying na beto dwa no na Chief Justice so tro ye say Mr. President mate say petitions be aba beto am and so share the law of natural justice o say woman mensu ho akwanja say mekere madwen ansa na kura na aboa together with the Council of State matumi establish whether there's a prima facie case against me and Sana Watuaso. And on no answer, presidency the betu just say, okay, President after this petitions in Nano Ediama Chief Justice. Nemum or Chira said President Nianje say Chief Justice Krata no de bro no president no ebeto a media nanim nano ne ye bisa senti sa petition to remove the Chief Justice no ninjina so et saying a sida na say saying and I kwan be ne yefaswa ye Chief Justice esinchen ene ye be dwene nyina kama na ho so atumi ate asente total education and ye ba be e won Nnawotwe adwumadi so ene anapay na Nnawotwe we so na the Minister of Energy and Green Transition John Abdullahi Jinapo committee bi ote say omonhwehwe ekwan kura nam so ema ECG Omoja 3,000 containers ewatem porter omon clear no omode omon hwehwe mu no betu dwa na omon hwehwe mu no mo kire say 3,000 containers and omo say e port no mo hwehwe mu no 1,300 of such containers no omo hu ewatem port ho na no na Nnawotwe we minister here said abi ene obebo anan na wahwe bia containers ho omo akokọ hu bi say bebre na no ewo sam warehouses be open area mo and no ya no ebetu just so much 10 Chinese and 4 Ghanaian nationals and no ye bisa say kwan ben so and asa ECG containers omu wi aye ye kan wi aye fi say container into mean sorry and into fi port ho inte kwan ben so omu si fire areas are containers from Tema Harbour ye be dwene ho sansem we nyina no oni entina ewoye Nnawotwe adwumadi so ya from Samuel Kojo Brace me chiamia me didwuma nim on behalf of producers walanyo wofa akosinsia ene AC ohene Saramo ene directors omo ye adwuma sound for camera for light for ene set designers me see me gina omo nem na mada wase sana peso ma yakwanja se mbra onchen wo fie wo office ne bia wo nyina no na oni endi dwuma we ye twa ho tewo ne yaba ye be don senu asuko ye papa nti oni entra e wa Adom TV and 94.7 FM yeba. All right, enti yentwa nsem no so na afi yenko yanim safi na wodo afidi na to ha Adom TV radio so ya Asempa 94.7 FM enti membo mia my sister Penny akua boacho yi Adom ene ne dom na pena na pamfo ewo adwumadi omadi ewo Asempa 94.7 FM na yenko yanim na enche yesebeka ora Samuel Osaibonsu Esquire private legal practitioner obejo ene edin komo na yenko the ECG nsensem so na beto dwa no Minister for Energy and Green Transition ora John Abdullahi Jinapo na yem hyehye na mo de nsem atodwa na enye easy eno parliament and a former board chair for ECG and then minority leader ora Alexander Felmarkin so the two just say ECG mpenifo ne custom mpenifo bi eye kululala etonton ECG continent we ni abey enye fufuro eye ne ekoso de dada nti omo hwe no munsia no kwa yenkonko hwe sa videos a eba ye Minister of Energy ene ne ekoso parliament na eba ebeto aso.
I'm also looking at the source of the problem. That for me is very, very important. Mr. Speaker, and with your permission, I'll tender in the committee's report so that everybody can read it. I'll tender it in. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the tables, for instance, in year 2023, their approved planned procurement was 935 million. That's less than 1 billion. By the end of the year, they had procured 8.3 billion. 7.3 billion more than their budget could accommodate. And so you had so many containers arriving at the port. So many containers arriving at the port. They are not able to clear. And that gives way for these things. Mr. Speaker, 2024, their budget was 1.3 billion for procurement. They ended up procuring 8.2 billion. That is the source of the problem. And I hold the view that whoever was responsible and the MD approving, Mr. Speaker, is even worried. If you look at the procurement, the MD has a threshold of $1 million. A day, they sign 20 contracts, all of them 900, 900, 900, 900. These are the key issues that I am focusing on. And so let me tell those politicians, and excuse my language, Mr. Speaker, I believe that some of the criminals are part of it. On social media and trying to muddy the waters. Your days are numbered. Mr. Speaker, the containers have serial numbers. They are received at the port. They are entered into a document. There's a manifest for it. Before they move on, somebody has to sign for it. It has to go through an agent. It has to get to a destination. And I will trace all of that. We will trace them. That is the way to go. Already, I have written to the Bureau of National Investigations or National Investigation Bureau to commence investigation. And so, Mr. Speaker, without arguing too much, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I will tender in the report.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Speaker, in winding up, we are giving some immediate directives. The procurement unit was merged with the estate department. The head of procurement was jettisoned, and the head of estate department was then made to take care of the procurement. So I've written to ECG immediately that should be decoupled and a qualified procurement expert should man the procurement unit. Secondly, we've reduced their budget from 500 million to 250 because we must pay for the power producers. Today, how come containers at the ports, containers that have arrived, the bureaucracy at our ports, they say the containers are missing. Mr. Speaker, it is true that when these containers come, there is some connivance with some customs officials, and they sell these containers, these cables that ECG needs after the supplier has been paid. They sell the container, and then people resell back to ECG. Are we pretending we don't know? Instead of us to pay attention and kill the rots, then we come here, then MPP, NDC, so now they say, oh, maybe it's happening under MPP, it's happening under NDC. No. An honorable minister, I know what you can do. If we can give you support to do it, you must adopt a posture, a non-partisan posture, and tackle the rots. But if we all want to approach it, MPP, NDC, Mr. Speaker, it will remain. NDC will spend 4 years, 16 years, 20 years. The same thing will be there. They will come into opposition, and the same thing would arise again. Then the perpetrators will be there in the system. Mr. Speaker, today, Ghanaian businesses cannot sleep because there's a new government, whereas foreign businesses are surviving because they are ambassadors.
All right, Tintiano, then some course so Nnawotwe way concerning the ECG containers Ira FE Tema Port. Yemfa Charles for a policy lead climate change and energy transition or the African Center for Energy Policy ASAP. Charles Medasi said what join here on the phone. Unpack issues no. Say ECG at the 3,000 containers every drew port. Na said near 1,003 anywhere. Why panel was here holding accountable?
That's it. I think that it's all part of Nyoma the BIACA about ECG as a company and as a power distributor. Na Nyoma bia yehu se enkoye ewo company nim. KPMG report by we saw what the audit report said. Nyoma na infractions they na audit report eka afa ho. And so that manka and secondly same way na say na abejoso. I think that the company itself in here retooling and there the BIACA say ECG as a company is really failing us. Say bano say maintaining efficiency even in power distribution number one and Sanya marketing kitty, we got a marketing, but idea very, very huge. It's really about time more go through such issues where you hold them accountable because you can't tell me say if you are a state-owned enterprise now you have a well-functioning procurement unit. I'm not sure this is the first time I hear shipments, and I'm not sure say omo ewo sa unit on nim the adwuma mo and most of these issues there or say hwehwem na omo that are found to be liable it's me more eco environment and there also environment the be also do mo because thousands of containers into me and say a consumer now say it's something that we don't even know. Right, new information about NRA. I saw some video be about how a copy or another shop or mode aluminium bars bine ade. As to whether it is true or not, we need more evidence to prove that. But the point is that there are a lot of breaches. What ECG as a company, I would say, pay attention to us as a country.
But I mean, if you listen to where the discussions about container Ira Fihania there, we seem not to really see. I mean, the politics there. It sounds will see a corner, and now as a nation, I'll see it to me have that kind of direction that can help us deal with these rots, and not really say blame game.
I think the second part now, okay, it's really the best solution, NDC Beko, MPP Beba, governments will go, governments will come. But we know we'll still be Ghanaians. And the past and present, the governments that have gone and come have shown us, I say we want to say something maybe at that moment to show that we are doing something. But say I'm fine now pet ECG anchor. Last year near account about losses. After the near account about exchange rates in some. After the near account about 60 or so bank accounts. After the near account say comply with cash water for.
Yeah.
This year we are talking about procurement issues. See, and we've enabled them for so long. And who have been the enabler? Mostly is government because the leadership and most of the people are government appointees. I don't think say one personal company Obesha Masanyuma way aka not minority leader can be about time I'm not a board chairman for ECG and you may be and I say then you ask yourself, so what did he do when he was there? Okay. And now, now, the catch him is a NPP. What did you do? What safeguards did you put in place? In the same way, what is the current are you doing? I mean, yeah, sure. And this is a conversation I also you follow closely. Whether the government is really, really serious about making sure the ECG runs as a business. Because you see, say, Asemba, they will add a tax. Meanwhile, we are not dealing with the inefficiencies. You see, people are giving conversations around, say, in some 10% in camp fuel, 9 frontier fire service, meanwhile, fire service is factored within our water tariffs. You see, if we do not set up and then call these SOEs to order, they will always be inefficient, and then they will find an easy way. And the easy way to deal with it will be to tax you and I. You know,
okay.
It's an issue of inefficiencies, and we need to solve this.
You understand the energy sector well, boy, and I appreciate it. Why part a bit me point is on our why more I bet me possible some we are containers with 5,300 of them. Yatisaba could be $500,000. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. I say, what they share a power project bima a bit me abuama a nyoma akosuye. But you see, Sanyoma we know ayana hands Nedoson, a lot of middlemen, because you are talking about port issues, you are talking about procurement, you are talking about shipping, you are talking about customs, you are talking about a lot of entities that are involved. That is why, I mean, say, but you see, I was saying, yeah, we have to follow the shipment, no, we have to track the processes, track the entities that are involved within the, right from procurement up to Tema, you do ports, up to Tema, whether clearance worked or clearance didn't work. All of those things, no, the entities and then the people who are supposed to be involved, no, the investigation should show. And we should watch. I was saying, follow up closely. Sanana or Chinabiscanda from now we are Kata. May in India is here. Now, Bay 2025 news. No, I was saying, all of those people who are culpable. Because I know, say, by all, the entities that are involved are the people who are involved are a lot. It's not only ECG. I'm not sure, say, only ECG pay.
Interesting. So for you, then when need that so in this particular issue?
I think that many that's one is maybe you should who are found culpable be criminally held liable. Number two, a bigger conversation about the power sector, particularly the distribution sector, ECG. Yeah, something where idea kind of confusion say there, you are against ECG or anything. But you see, most of these losses, most of these inefficiencies, they are affecting me. So carry. Eventually, when we lose our government and the question, and those are things that a bit in the school, a bit in the other social enterprises, so that the company should run as a business.
Okay.
You won't do that to a private company. Like I say, we need to have a bigger conversation about the efficiency of ECG, right from procurement through to the engineering works, through to more compliance with regulations. There are issues reports are and yet it's a report, PULC, APMG. These are independent units that have talked about the woes and then the issues of the power distributor. And we need to do action. And yes, sir, when the lights go off, may be affected. Those who can afford to buy generators will install solar. When the tariffs go up, may be chair. These are things we really, really need to sit down and discuss the future of ECG and look at ways if ECG is not efficient, we should let the people who are more efficient and are willing to handle it come and handle the company. And yes, I mean, in a baby.
But one can say, "Oh, GDS same way. You be to me caught to the bottom of it. Near who or more also face loss in there."
I'm really hoping say a bit me. I mean, historically, we don't find a lot of confidence in some of these things. Mostly we discuss it and we go. But I'm really hoping again to say, sir, and you that's what I'm saying. Is that we need to follow closely. Say, you join once and can, it will be difficult to track.
Okay.
But I will say it's me, obey me, they also you follow up, follow the news, follow the money, and see where it goes.
Yo, where the medase, Charles Ofori, say when you're near Dean Common, Nnawotwe Dwumadie so. Charles Ofori, policy lead, climate change and energy transition, or the African Center for Energy Policy, ASAP. Well, member studio, na mema mabedwa for Akwaba, Ora Solomon Asante, a member of the MPP's National Communications Team or studio. I'm sorry, we have a god there.
I'm sorry.
Say aban sesa na omo ni mo dada no na ne omo sesa omo ho te so hu kwa do befa so ya nua Peter Mensa so be cancer and on deputy chief executive officer PSC Tema Shipyard onia congrats aban sesa look good on you
NCU. No contribution, no chop. Contribute. Say no contribution, no chop. You are chopping because you contributed. Nobody can say anything. Come here, many tia.
Okay. Said the papa John Mama. Castle reset baby. Amma and Mebuno. I say. Said ye campaign yenya ni mujidi no kwanya bia also de magana babunu mo ye adwuma obema sa kwanya enu bi na asoye so ye de bire amaye nti yenso yasade ne se ye be ye adwuma ni ahye papa na ne unyam nti asudie ene da ye so eye se yenya appointment but asudie kese esabe ne ye betwa to ho say Gidia President Mahama anya awo mabunu mu a enne obehu mabunu bebre nya position kama efe nti asudi say yen ye beye adwuma na ye dia hye papa no enu nya mo Gidia wa de wonye nti de bia no me da sorry bia na how best can I make the best impact or me sector or say de be ya ye betimi ade a transform many a reset the economy. Sa resetting agenda na President Mama ka eda papa na kuma so papa na wo bia oye appointee bia da nim say papa na emphasize de na enye de eni agro ti wa obedi agro e wo ho bia no ya de a wasobeshe enti yanchia mohwefo nyina
okay
na yenda ye papa John Mama say wanya ye mugidie sa yenso ye be hye na nduonyam na memfa kwan yi so na miaka same boss lawyer Sami Jemfi ndra na ye ne birthday sonko na ye Ghana nyina wiase nyina lawyer Sami Jemfi na ye ne birthday
okay
na the birthday presenter the MI lawyer Sami Jemfi ni ye say ndra parliament a pass the gold ball you know that is the biggest birthday presenter.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the vision of President Mama to transform the economy. One of the backbone in gold ball system.
Okay.
So the be leverage on the gold resource nanya media maye all the time. Me see young kwala you school no from primary near you were resources near body gold diamond kuku near the but all the time you can't answer me near say you was high resources winning as we poor.
Mate.
No, President Mama Bino, one of the key areas of leverage on here, they are transforming the economy. No, here the good board. And it's our good board. No parliament. I just be for me. Lawyers Sami Jemfi and a bedano. Your man and book and in a juma power. Why within the short time, which say obey juma then the among my gun.
Peter, Mate Medase. Mamisha so Solomon Asante ho. Solo 1,300 containers a year. Kwan Benson was here funny to me home on mom or baby on one cast sha a cheek near to your mamma near Weddy.
Could you Medasi be dedi kan Edenchia Sokuma ya hwefo. Ene Ghana man nyina. Eye containers aye ka ho asem. Kojo de di kan me confused kakra.
Okay.
Efa no eye ye osoafo a oda eye enyinam ahoden so ni figures a kotu ya na vary ni nyina figure way is different from at least what about say 3-4 figures a ni nyina enye ba ko no e ho na me hu say because we say 1,003 a year at a point now say 3,000 and crap we can see after a French transition right yeah ma wo kokko inspect ye hu enye si obi ne bo amani ba wo inspect ye hu say 3,000 ewo. In another brief o kasa no who mentioned 2,500. Then in another instance so kasa you mentioned 2,400. There was another video bi so was it 24 is it 241 or 2491 24 bb until Mr. three figures in emu de wan ni o say o kan asem na be ma enipa ahwa asem ni say asem na o kan no carry through that o kan ejina o consistency e one factor ejina so hwa ade no say ade na o kan o si obomasom wakojina kan o si obomasom wakoj ti won say ade ni e consist the o kan no na o kan be ko bani so opememe obomasom organization bottom they say all kind of different places in different things concern the same act na ma who confuse you listeners and any viewers and me see I got confused as to which total figure of containers and an port why also call inspecting here the use the west or inspecting to 3,000 but subsequent ones now can see 2,4 2,5 well we will plead say minister benya ni figures no correct na on clear sa you know e mani hu say Ghana ye nyina ma hode ECG for no wo containers be about port 3,000 no you say 1,300 na ka wo Manchester be koka 1,007 e wo ho say o check ye na 3,000 na 2,500 then it may raise a lot of questions. Say, what's the inspect here? Because upon inspection, they 3,000. Subsequent ones, you didn't add inspection and say, Bianca. To umra out clearly, now you exactly the number of containers. They told me, you know, as to how you bet me, and your son, your money back about a mono. Yes. Uptie video na boy na ye minority leader na ye honorable Afenyo Market na all can same and that has been my position whenever I come here everywhere I go I try to look we should be I don't Ghana first this a Ghana first and ya fe near NDC MPP near Babetran asema beton of national concern na ye be yan say MPP are taking position NDC are taking position on this matter. Nature say no use the word. I will use the same word. The rot, will persist. Government will come, government will go because none of the political parties, is prepared to say okay. I deal with the minus 17. No me enhwe kwan ya bet me afa so ya be hwe na ye nyina ya to adwen ye nya pomasi bi dia ma no. NDC twi ni say ne ebinim ye influences. Casti aspersions ne niema na MPP Zukra ni say na eno so koso e ba ni sa amagana onya asomdwe impuntuo ebo amagana mesere send the honorable minority leader ni kan ye no yen hwe ni nyina zo gina as you see when is the posture wona oda so ye na no now the assembly ba beto dwa no the way I will be presenting assembly, the way I will be canon, the way I just say, I'm will be presenting one mama for reading meanings into it. And the better say, you are prepared, say, obi emfa, adwene bi, efutuo bi, anas, and I yen corner say, what dear way there, national, yen twat, adwene, and that's okay. Say, mona moteso, mon share, na monye. sa posture na no na be boy.
But will you agree with Nkofo Mukase? Raphael Markin was a former board chair of ECG. I mean, former government in Nkofo no board of the ECG. Uti Raphael Markin was say, "Omoya aware, so that is there." But someone to me,
but that is there now. That is there.
Kabana mo eton containers no. Onanka say about parliament no. Say he knows they are there. So someone to me and to one more anya hwe. Na we cost na ya 1,500 echo in this year. Any question they say omo benefiting to no one to me anya hwe when they were born. Nana, will you agree with those people who ask those questions?
No.
Why would you?
Say oh hwene sana na me hu ne say ye take position bi ye nye prepared say ye bepe solution to the matter.
Okay.
Ho na be ma e be breed sa blame game no. Okay sir, okay na yata na munye ne sa ba e bia nka ye ka say ye toato adwene e wo mrahye bedwem ho a afanu ni nyina toato adwene e say we dey is a national program ye hwe nya ne pomasi brepre kope na sa kanka no emfi sa institution ma em say be boye but o ka so be call back ana ko na wo na wo ye e na wo ho na wo ye say never because let me tell you this. The fact that you're Raphael Markin in the past regime no can board or whatever no doesn't also clear the fact saying the practice has even existed even when NDC was in power. I hope you understand me. Interfere you call back and I tell my war there be first anger I think say we are misfiring.
No, but it's relevant to ask say you when you were board chair or you were on the board you knew but when to one amount. Is it because now benefit here now 30% no to one amount? That's
and I mean for the position I want to take, I started taking say me per se ye pe solutions so that this thing will end. Whether NDC did it before, MPP did it before, or and I don't want it to come into the equation. It will ma. What they shall say? You better know.
Me bisa so mo na movie you know.
No me. Unka say we be asem. We see our board doesn't mean so benefiting from other. And I can say yeah because na am you shy away distracting from the focus.
Okay.
I hope you understand me.
Okay, I get you.
If you like, let's open the Pandora box. Let's go that target. Tie de me nyabeka. Tie de meka. Go see yeah subsequent discussion crap no hwekre nyamre nya because yeah beka na yeah be referrals. And NDC time during so and na so bona fe amagana to person fa kon animo no. Na yeah until you focus on that, I don't want to get distracted by those commentaries.
Okay.
Whether it is true or not, I do not want to enter into that terrain. What I am focused, and for purposes of the development of Ghana, before say, you move on straight to Point Ben so near far. Afenu ni nyina, you better make sure say dey besi. Esi when this emreso wo abemu, esi when people emreso abemu. There should be a U-turn at a point in time. Say no, this thing must come to a halt. Except nipa na on the cassette. Is it Charles, right? Is it Charles?
Yes.
Yes. But it's all can be said. That is why they appreciate the call for the privatization of ECG. What me I say? Oh, say he has moved from the blame thing, trying to profile a solution a bit because I can say bit twice say we are sure say it will be private ejuma and cast. Oh, and that is the discourse I want us to take. Because this idea akoso among for baby for 1 year be even you can't hear technocrats. Come wo ejuma no na omo ye ejuma no. Who politician dey? Who be back 4 years? Uti year 8 years. Now we fi say ejuma ku onim. Say we serve as a board. Say any other political appointment dey am audit here. We fi yo. Now, or no technocrat no. Otioda. The only thing that happens is say transfer from ABI to her. But at least top hierarchy need there. So, oye PRO, so oye there's providers any a government appointment and a political appointment in there. So it goes. So do you know what? Say you two abana say a political party assume office. Now you post your appointments to the very. Let me use the local government. That's my area. Now you both this or your MMDC here. Who could run office or a honor engineer beba, fiscal planning officer beba. MF that's a finance officer beba obi abech oh had we the one say omo no mo be chiro say omo no be just had we the because we know say kojo emphasis aban bia ba na abodi zuko ebi a district na koma oh na ebi a local government in crap on share that what me say don't go orientation there but the nitty-gritty no is in the practice okay into a ho no mo be kire na wan nya soso a sa a kire no wo ho na you fall down big time and no mo ne wo kasa na wan tie soso a I say na the same comparison be me hear the sports ministry of sports papa Yusuf Ali Yusuf Malam is yeah papa is a former minister yes one say yes how the obana you can say no one say so what I'm saying is let's focus on trying to find out a solution to this so that whereby obey border then we cut off matter. That is the discussion. I mean, it was a parliament. Omutimi pejam no muso say say we akoso. E kwan be so na yefa. Ba say the kan na like the minister. I say one, I don't obi na be sign man epie. Two, e be for checks bi nimumu. Three, there are vantage points say bio national security personnel na say for na mo hwe say ade na e ko no ampa say this o say pie ko and I say fine. Sa niema no also the akoma NIB me bompa is NIB for so be so na mo sa niema ni na ye who came for what, who signed for what, ni sa niema ni ntimi bring the whole matter no to a rest.
Okay, all right, you. Medase, it's 40 after 8 a.m. Yeah, Minya.
I had one say ordinal. Ordinal betimi aka.
And then I was here to me to make sure say we are arriving at a conclusion that Ghana for any budget we are able to arrest the perpetrators for Ghana to get what it deserves. 500,000 per container. Heading.
Into me catch out last set. Mo fi di kasi me ba afofo hwepa. Nti se mancha afofo ana se mama ha. Afo president so de no ana Alhaji College that abosheba. Okay. Yeah, regional minister ba ko pe oba pa honorable Charity Gardner ma yenchia omunyana na ukomi ankasa aya certificate nkase mkrenkuma me mame mama test na afi ene me papa na akomo mo hwe afi dikase yenchia omunyana woni bibi se omane ye ne se okoto de ne bodwe nyanya nkyere yemfa nkunti ba ne nkra ntem mara de se de menua ne okasa se hambofo no pay na Ghana nti me enkoye ndi CMPP ofa amunya sa adanko dada James mo de dan yamfa ntwa be frato enura kwasi ye na nye kwame ye ne na enye ye beka kwame de ne nso ne na ade ayensa na ho ye koye nim na o ye se enkoye ndi CMPP MPP sam ye wo krom ha confirm ye hu te confirm ye to baby a enso mo ye propaganda gu ye so sa emfie nwotwe ana confirmatu na confirmatu minister sama what can there's no contradiction kojo minister sam no what can is straightforward 3 figures pen or their troublting or say or no as minister during transition period ana krata so yentie asem ye na seminua wo so wonte ase ya won de won trotro me be chirechim no ate ase krata mu ono aye transition document mu no ana MPP abandi hye mu say under ECG no omo containers of 3,000 e wo port o makra e be port ye ni o paper so no 3,000 during transition. And I swear minister in on the 17th. Yes, sworn in on the 17th. Oh no, see 24th. And no case obekwa ye check on 3,000 containers now minding. Omode share krata sworn. Into on kasa na pamfo port ho see e kwa containers no. Ye kwadru hono no empanifu omo port omo container no. Teni o almost say 3,000 na ye 2,500. That is the second figure. Enti krata so no ya 3,000. Okodru hono na mpanifo na omo ewo hono no man report no is amben bo no so say 2500 e ho na bo minister ni pusa no say krata so ya 3000 ma bedru ans mo small ka 2500 no ene bibi wo ho ma men set committee ni enkoye hwehwemu ni enhunu containers no important na yeden ewo hono Ghana for museum tie ni eminua no so ntworo said ye be na wo free ho a efiri ha kwa no akoye nchirichiri mo ama ne nuanom enti on papers na 3000 ye ko no mo asoe ne so kobu sampan for mo so 2500 ana minister sati committee said there be mo nkwa hwehwem na ye hunu containers dodo ankasa e wo ho no ye ko hwe ya Ghana fo eno na report no tabonten say even out of the 2500 na ye kano 1003 ayra 1003 out of the 2500 no ayra enim enti kwosenya ne yebusan say 1300 no every na ayra e ba ne say e wona minister ne mpanifo national security ase aginam si enkohwe and yakwa Chinese in Libya. Or no about 40 of the containers. What can the cost of the container? 500,000 no, and just CDC. You can't do less. $500,000 ya some ye can. And to not say, well, Chinese need back and 40 containers. You busana was in last year, and you trust our container, man. And ya MPP abanso na me I would say it na gaze be ya dangada and am yan MPP momo de kwampa obi anim say adayi a confirm bia tukura no mo ye dede sa na ya koye hwehwemu ya hu say containers ya kese we 1003 ayira and a dance here wo ho say last year and as how containers ni na ayira free wo and a minister yes say yeah, investigation, but be that's our containers. No, do piano. We will fetch the containers. Container, no, minister can simply say, no. You see, one of the key issues are young course, and it will come later. On what basis na ECG ne crampo mko cross our containers, 3,000 containers, no. Content of the containers, no. What was it? Procurement processes, no. How did it go? Sanya money now will come to that later. And the minister no the no he want to know the content and why it has delayed because everyone in the see about 1.5 billion. And the minister na trim one what they call no different and no call ya yakwa say ya no oma de ani biom 1003 and when you confirm when you ataban, confirm what you go ataban. Containers when you ataban, talent Romaira. And that's a Siano, former ECG boss. And shouldn't I know about 2 Tosa Ghana for Boo at the end of the correct. Sadia Nisi wo. Meaning, Nesi wo. And Omonkasa Omabino, the former ECG board chairman, no, Adia Tunsena, Adiasi, Kata Phobi or Moton Town containers. And if we do not hold people responsible, we get some first of all, one man and responsible of those containers. A man send a containers and yan buy not 1003 at Wayana. I was your busa sako sense no, Nankophobia no. Eti open a Pumasibira, one for 5,000 so I better than Pumasibira. And those people involved, no, and was some brand new dear. Na yes and ho at the amount of. And that is the very thing we are going to do. And that is what the minister is saying. And to me, hang out, who don't mind now? Kase said you minority leader cano. Say onim says I can't no honor under my government. Our moton tono. Woso kase sanko for you know, and running coach your mumra. And no now bet o kasa sanam ye being na beja to some pa. You are being nationalistic. O manage job and now and kase. Yeah, NDC MPP some. Nobody is doing NDC MPP some. A ban the war on Nasanyama we ayira. MPP a ban so Nasanyama we ayira. One man involved. Let's get all those perpetrators involved. No, Even as at that time, no, say NDC or no obi, NDC no kasa team no it doesn't matter. The bottom line is the MPP are buying so as our containers, and the Chinese man has confirmed that. And how do we trust the people? That is what we should be interested in. Obia wasam, obia wa dance here, obia wa information, obia yebeboa. President Mahama says we are resetting the economy, we are resetting the country, we are transforming the nation through strategic measures. And this is what we are doing. You see how the minister was talking, very passionate. Because one container $500,000. That may your calculation and come me machine so $500,000. They about times 1,300. Containers the iron. Just look at that. Just look at that. $650 million.
But Peter, you're okay.
$650 million.
Yeah, okay. And in the minister, Kano, this is publication on Joy, and this is 12 March 2025. We're in your kind of parliament. I say, quote, when we took over, I visited the Tema Harbour and found about 3,000 containers stuck there, most of which contain transformers. As of today, ECG has a total liability of 13 billion cedis from supplies, with demurrage alone projected to reach 1.5 billion cedis by end of 2024, he stated.
Minia, we are the yatro. More and will be a throw out of the water. The video no I would not parliament because I was a video.
But that's it.
And I may say, who video, say, way, there will be a throw. I don't know, because series video now mechano was say what was not in parliament. And that is what I was referencing. Was it on the 17th was when
hold on.
Yes.
Okansa, you are trying to say, sir.
This is reportage.
My joy online.
This is reportage.
No, but this is his quote.
This is reportage. Video.
I don't know if production was it. No.
I have given it to you.
Where 12.
Video.
But you can't contest an online publication when
they
have quoted the man.
Minister in the parliament and walk say or buy in transition 3,000. 17 years when in on 24th Okoye and a report on money 2,500, and that is what I'm quoting. The video I would not parliament our vice president. The video while I know he has it meaning or mumbo video. Would not parliament.
Could I have sent it if you don't have it? I've been sent it to you.
No,
I don't want to be added.
This is my job. So that is a report.
I was in the I was in the newsroom. Look, Minister Nates our committee to look into the me. And I'm afraid me too. And this is here. I'll say, Mr. Jinapo assured that the government will take decisive action to resolve these issues and ensure the efficient use of resources in the energy sector, adding that the Energy Ministry has set up a committee to investigate procurement anomalies and breaches.
Producer minister. From this week, a minister Kasa working in our parliament on the site in why you clear?
And yet this week,
this
is 12 March in Parliament.
The man is on tape. He's on video in Parliament. And a video no Okase. Transition period. 3,000 and an war record.
No, but your report of parliament or the other way. No, you see, I say when we took over, I visited Tema Harbour and found about 3,000 containers. I know they was a
answer no crano report and say about 3,000.
That's our report. What the man said.
And now what about my specific say 2,500 at the port. The 3,000 is specific in transition period.
Okay.
But the specific one at the port are 2,500. And he's on tape. And now a certain committee now committee no 1,003 of the 2,500 aira.
And no
na yen hwehwemu and through national security ni team I set it up no ya Chinese ni bi on kwa 40 of them
But me ba
I confirm say ye Tom man last year.
Peter, hold on. Let's take wow some kind.
Mo
Also minister can say or better figure
transition period no 3,000
and
of course 2,000 yes 2,000
okay
and your report on ko na on to me go guide all the 3,000 containers now 2,500 or call port or those who were in charge and they say on their records then and yet 3,000 you 2,500 no say transition period ya mama 3,000 figure my baha most mama 2,500 and was certain committees and your monko na monko kan
okay
enti akan mu no and the babon ten say sa 2,500 nu pa o mo kan no emu 1,003 ayira and na yenye straight investigation yenhwe and ya kwakwache Chinese ni bi ono kwankra 40 and wa confirm me say last year na sa container ye ton ma me this is the crux of the matter.
This year they be
no. Say a year this year, and I say your friend is a minister no cramp on your power on 17th. What I say, minister no crown by 17th. Oko Port Honoma, Director General of Ghana Port and Harbour, on your power somewhere 12th of February.
Okay.
And all those times is the management and leadership of the previous government on one and all. And assuming with the admitting, even January Crampo be all those people must be questioned.
I'm not looking at January.
But the fact, the facts is here. No. The facts is here. No crowd. What's when the Jehona producers number? The first fact is here. What Chinese near out of that 1,003 no, okra 40. I no one confirm say last year near tons had you with mine. That is the prima facie case. I was saying now based on now you set charge, you investigate. Obi o kan obi ano. Let's cooperate with the minister. Nanko for ma di o ma na sika die no. Yenye sanko.
Mate me da say 1 for 5 minutes.
ECG o mo boy en card.
Thank you. All right. Me da say kojo. In fact, ensema Peter Ekano enne ne minister kan ye no enyepe. Minister video no wo ho me susuma for the amount mo boa ebe boa ye nyina me see minister ne say oko inspect 3,000 oko inspect 3,000 ewo port o see oko inspect I underscore it again say o see oko inspect Honorable John Jinaposi oko inspect 3,000 containers. That must be the fact. That is the fact, and that must be on record. Say minister Nankasa admit say ono ko inspect here. One case obi na catch no. Transition meeting as Debbie. Or see he personally went to inspect 3,000. It a whole conclude. And then I may share my submission as me can say minister na mama confused because on one also I inspect. The moment also I inspect, you say who check who say oh ade we there 3,000. But subsequently no both figure now more 3,000 or see 2,500. Another one or see 491. 2,491. That's 2,491. So which is which? Figures no man ACC so which is which? I think I can earlier say out clear. Ni who say bia me call inspect here no. E wo me say me call inspect 3,000. But me call here no. Me nya adaje an kunkan ni nyina nsi 3. Ana say bia say no me expect ni hu de ntira ade na drop from 3,000 the initial inspection figure of 3,000 to 2,500 and then to 2,491 where 2,491 no me hu now obe say minister no you catch no transition say 3,000 later kokko inspection no say 2,500 it is not being truthful to Ghanaians. Once that attitude in opposition no ube rabema it stops, it ends because you are now accountable to the people. Until ubi bia should be factual bia ampa minister no num waka we na mumu no bia ABCD now yes it's true say ampa say ebinum before this administration be take over 7 January no na ebinum in the past administrations no cartel bi wo hosa wo that ECG jumekuo nim ana say bia port ho wo ne ebinum ya saa de na nobody should be spared. Because your manager pade na ye kan wasem o mine sika na ye kan wasem the pure water agbobloshi omo tonton niema ye titi ticket kakra di nyina kwa go e di ye sa niema di abo eno asem na ye ka the sweat of the Ghanaians eti ebinim etimi fa nkonko amase no it can't be possible. So right. I want it to be on record say Peter is not being accurate with the figures. And Peter is not reporting correctly on the figures that the minister mentioned. He said he inspected 3,000.
Aha Nnawotwe Jumadi Adom TV and Asempa ebetu hotel ne abayeko ne akwa say mula hwan ene wini bibi ene memene de woni entina na yehwe omombe wini yekwaba.
I'm also looking at the source of the problem. That for me is very, very important. Mr. Speaker, and with your permission, I'll tender in the committee's report so that everybody can read it. I'll tender it in. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the tables, for instance, in year 2023, their approved planned procurement was 935 million. That's less than 1 billion. By the end of the year, they had procured 8.3 billion. 7.3 billion more than their budget could accommodate. And so you had so many containers arriving at the port. So many containers arriving at the port. They are not able to clear, and that gives way for these things. Mr. Speaker, 2024, their budget was 1.3 billion for procurement. They ended up procuring 8.2 billion. That is the source of the problem. And I hold the view that whoever was responsible and the MD approving, Mr. Speaker, is even worrying. If you look at the procurement, the MD has a threshold of $1 million. A day, they sign 20 contracts, all of them 900, 900, 900, 900. These are the key issues that I am focusing on. And so let me tell those politicians, and excuse my language, Mr. Speaker, I believe that some of the criminals are part of it. On social media and trying to muddy the waters, your days are numbered. Mr. Speaker, the containers have serial numbers. They are received at the port. They are entered into a document. There's a manifest for it. Before they move on, somebody has to sign for it. It has to go through an agent. It has to get to a destination. And I will trace all of that. We will trace them. That is the way to go. Already, I have written to the Bureau of National Investigations or National Investigation Bureau to commence investigation. And so, Mr. Speaker, without
all right, memo akwaba envambra Nnawotwe Jumadi so Adom TV and Asempa 94.7 FM 6 minutes after 9 a.m. Adom TV. So, well, so we've dealt with the issue about the ECG, you know, containers and on wine also to me, you know, what we need to do to unravel or more containers and no more containers from the port. But the issue has to do with numbers, the what time and if you are there. So I mean, when the forensic investigation is conducted, we will probably senior echo. But you move on and call the Chief Justice Nediana. So now what you win a President John Dramani Mahama Ofane, Minister of State in charge of government communication, Felix Kwachiofosu. So Edibetu just a president I received Nensaka 3 petitions against the Chief Justice Maame Gertrude Araba Tokonu. No now for these petitions means we akwa the Council of State say near Nensaka any enti omunhwe no munyamwadwuma, but because Emrano Constitution Emrano say President Saka petitions are Article 146 or say where the petition is for the removal of the Chief Justice, the President shall, and to eno as a command or say shall, acting in consultation with the Council of State, appoint a committee consisting of 2 justices of the Supreme Court, one of whom shall be appointed chairman by the president, and 3 other persons who are not members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. I'll say all proceedings under this article shall be held in camera, and the justice or chairman against whom the petition is made is entitled to be heard in his defense by himself or by a lawyer or other expert of his choice. The president shall, in each case, act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee. Now, I beto Jano, Chief Justice, Mame Gertrude Arabato Konoso Troye, the Coma President, say, what is a obimo the petitions Abba President or concerning or no? Now, I want to quote her specifically so that Yejina Abwa in the discussions that we'll be having here. Or say, respectfully, in the case of Chief Justice, please allow me to submit that it is the combination of the evidence in the petition and the response of the Chief Justice. So, on the Chief Justice, and the response of the Baba, and the material for consultation between His Excellency the President and the eminent members of the Council of State under Article 1466. Or say these 2 sources serve to guide whether a prima facie case has been established, such that a committee of inquiry should be set up under Article 146 to inquire into whether the Chief Justice may be removed from office. This is the direction of the Supreme Court in the case of A.J. Chum versus Attorney General and Akwete 205-206. You know, and humbly and respectfully asking His Excellency the President and eminent members of Council of State to forward petitions against me to me and allow me at least 7 days after receipt of same to provide my responses to you, which responses then form part of the material that you can, conduct the consultations and spend under Article 146. Well, Yankwe, Nenkoti in Seminar President Ekaye, and any Chief Justice so cried ya tuja. Na fedi e ba abuma pound for her. Na ya dwendwen nsem no ho. Ye ne lawyer so be din komo. Na ya gye nsem no ye. Ye ba isia hwewe.
Mampeni John Dramani Mahama ejina Article 146 a ewo 1992 Constitution nimu ede petitions ahodo a wode abedan no se wonyi Chief Justice Gertrude Konunu akwa Council of State se wonom enwenwene ho no hu akwan pa wode befa so sansemi obenimbo so meda neto so adununum afimpinu ene adununum yimu ena enkrata bia Felix Kwachiofo so a wokasama mampeni na wasan so yes wa for government communications so ensa shase no wode ebetudwa enkrata ni mu no wode atudwa se mampanyini aye krado si obedi enhihye nyina so na wode asiesie sa asem no enkrata Cletus Mahama ya woye mampanyini John Dramani Mahama chochrofo ensa shase no emu no wotwere mu se sansem okuchire egu nkrata so no benimbo so meda no to so aduonu nan afimpinu ene adununum yimu ene wode nyina ama Council of States empanyinfo se wonum enhwehwemu na obenimbo so meda to so aduonu so afimpinu ene adununum yimu ena wonum nyina de wonsa ehyasie enu akire ene woto aso de sansem ya wakuchire egu nkrata so no ekoma Chief Justice se won kenkan no mfa na dwenkyere emetudwa enkrata ni mu no wasan so akire mu se enkrata bia Justice Tokonu edenensa ehyasie no benimbo so mede to so aduonu so afimpinu ene adununum yimu ena ebetudwa ya na ene na mabe fonten time so ansa kura ansa na wonum enya kwan akenkan bi nanso emfa wo se nkrata yi bi ekoto abe fonten time so ansa na mampanyini atena ye ensa eka bi no ni nyina mu no mampanyini John Dramani Mahama ahye Justice Tokonu bose wonum ebefa akwan ya etene so na nhyehyɛ ya eda ho nyina no wadi so no ama ne kwan amono nso ayi ne ho ano.
Chief Justice Gertrude Saki Tokonu ade abetudwa se ensema womanfo ekruchi egu nkrata so eye petition ede koma womanpeni John Dramani Mahama a womanfo ehwese yebeyi no afri eye nakonya so ne position no ohwe anim sesa nkrata yi womode bema no se ne ekoduru ho se womo ebisa no ensem afri mu a wotimi ayi ano sa leta yi wode kopie womanpeni aso eye womanfo beka ya womanpeni John Dramani Mahama ade ato eye Council of State enim se eye petitioner ne nsa aka no womo nso entuso anamo. Chief Justice letter ye ode akoi ehwe enim se obenya eye petition ni mu nsem no emu a ana New Patriotic Party mrashobejeni owo otafo enso ade akọ eye Supreme Court ekyere se wo mo emisa die ntia omanfoi enso ede petition aba montin so se wo mo emfan yi eye Chief Justice mrashobejeni onipa ono ane kogina mu ede ma no eye Godfrey Dame kane Attorney General na wei ana oswafo a ono na hwe government communications eso Felix Kwachi Ofosu ede atudwa se petition miensen womo ede akoma eye Council of State enam eye Article 146 1992 Constitution no.
Alright, inti yakwakoti nsɛm na ɛyɛ egu hɔ no yɛmra studio na yɛmedi nkɔmmɔ na yɛhwɛ anim sɛ yɛne Samuel Osebonso Esquire nso bedi nkɔmmɔ no yɛ private legal practitioner on same way. But this time I'm interested in you, Peter. Peter, I mean, the OTA Chief Justice at least petition by and then many or Samuel Okujoto Edim Komo. Sam Okujoto him say no, yeah, the chairman for the Constitutional and Petitions Committee of the Council of State. Okay. No, I say a petition be by during Nana Adankwa Akufo-Addo time, no. What he did was to submit to a Council of State in addition to the responses from the CJ. And Jadin in a way they are different. Okay. Medase Kujo. Omana ya chichire no. Mra. Ena ya de chichire omai no. Inti anamum bia yetu bia no. Our inspiration is from the 1902 Constitution. Yeah. I won't say the air coswa tobo aba CJ nsɛm nyina ne say MPP for efili say omo no said ya ne ka afidie no ɛso a usonko ɛna egya ho nso a usonko said omo yusu mmara na e favor omo no so bi foforo aba no obi yusu saa mmara na because say omo abuse the power nintine ya no mkopa bibi ache omo enti obi e fa mmara kwa so mpo aye bibi kura na omo kokwa apai enti won ze MPP for lawyers are sorry na glagla ye court ye yese ya de omo ye ya ekwan ya ye de Charlotte se fa so ekwan ya ye fa so ye de Auditor General Adom e fa so wo krom ha no ye tiatia ya ye yi sankofo no furo no omo adwem wo omo nim se saa bi na e ba abeto omo nipa enu nti na tobo ni nyina no den e koso na ni nyina mu no me makwase ya me believe in rule of law no program bi anu omo chaye wo ba bi omo se emra na sesen ye musa ye ho kwesen aso emra no makwan se ye betimi ayi Chief Justice Diana. Oh yes, that is the point we need to establish first. So per the 1992 Constitution, no, Article 146, no, is to declare the removal of justices of Supreme Court and chairman of regional tribunal. So no be uncontested. Me start foundation be. Na Ghana for who said the MP before you in to be as a obi asheda ne yakwakoyi Chief Justice na free hono you create impression say as the aban no and the person we Chief Justice free hono enye sa edin kan no emra makwan say ye betimi yi Chief Justice free ho na emra no esesen emra ne say pe Article 146 clause 1 no a justice of the Supreme Court or a chairman of the Emranus and time the where offer the Supreme Justice
no, this is where you don't know where I'm going. A justice of the Supreme Court of which Chief Justice Neka, yes, a chairman of the regional tribunal shall not be removed from office except because I want to emphasize on the ground. So you should know where I'm coming from. Except for stated misbehavior or incompetence or on ground of inability to perform the functions of his office arising from infirmity of body or mind. Yeah. And the kind of emrama kwansi betima ECG. Yes. The atosu mienu enyina so ben na obi betimi agina so a ye betimi aden ECG no stated misbehavior.
Yes.
Incompetence. Onye na dwuma yi. Na dwemu se bio eka no. Enti se obi to me establish any of these grounds na afei clause 6 no ayeden aba ho. Se onfan call petition be kwa command president. In clause 2 no the other justices no petition ye be kwa command chief justice no. But se efa Chief Justice Nankasa Hua, clause 6 of the Constitution, it say, Yemfan Koma, the president.
Exactly.
And Ambrano say, yet the mock president at the next step when they say, president must consult the Council of State.
Okay.
Who consult the Council of State? Yeah. There's supposed to be a committee set up.
Yeah.
TNE, baby. Yeah. The reference now,
yes.
May the OBC. President take all the steps.
Yeah.
Or consultation to the Council of State and not na fairness this who statement about.
Okay. Maybe hold on. Who say constitution no?
Yes.
When we read it, brofo
yes.
And we brofo na da. But the Supreme Court is the one that interprets this one. Am I interpreting that? In the case Chief Justice refer
yes.
Adom in her write-up will say that is a J. Trim versus Attorney General and Akwete, right?
Okay.
In that particular one, court say the court would therefore declare that upon a proper purposive construction of the whole of Article 146 in the context of the 1992 Constitution, viewed in its entirety, the Chief Justice must be given the benefit of a prior determination of whether a prima facie case had been established against him before the president might lawfully establish a committee to consider a petition for his removal. Now, how do you establish a prima facie? Would that
has a committee been established?
No. But how do you
has a committee been established? The first point of call is the consultation with the Council of State.
No. Has a prima facie case been established?
Look, the prima facie case is the petition from the people.
No.
The petition from the people, the president the president can engage the Chief Justice until he consults the Council of State. And after the first stage he has done is only the consultation to cast. And if you read the letter by Felix Ofugoza, the president has begun consultation with the Council of State. It's the process. And you only have to wait for the process to be exhausted if you have not been engaged. Then you issue the Audi Otram passing law, the natural law of natural justice. Now what they are doing, appealing government, say based on Audi Otram pattern, the fair hearing, I didn't get fair hearing. And based on that, abandoning men in a year. But the letter from the president, Felix Ofochukwu, said the president has begun consultation based on the petitions and to begin consultation at all costs. You, the Chief Justice, the president will engage you. They will engage you. On time, I engage you. And I'll fit in, ebi mu court. And I also do statement, Robert Monte. I deserve a fair hearing. I deserve to know the petition. You would have to wait. Even if you are engaged, that is why the president came out to say he is disappointed in the Chief Justice. Because you have not engaged me. You have not even sent any official notice to me. All he could hear and I say he could see and say you are on social media putting out say you. That is what the president said.
No. But how do you even determine say was the Chief Justice the letter by?
One Chief Justice. No. Pacho. If your friends a petition, your friends a court as some no, the Chief Justice put out a notice that he deserves a fair hearing and he deserves to get the letter. And I make us say, President, let's say that notice was put out in the social media before getting to him. That is why the president says he's disappointed because the president just began the process, and the process must begin from somewhere before you come in. The right to fair hearing.
Okay.
That process no exhausted yet. Now we're jumping into the social media. You are shooting yourself in the back.
Okay.
So what I say? Enti Ghana for President Mama and okay. There's no wrong here. Ghana for be more different, 3 different group of people and actual petition. And I'm based on Article 146 clause 1.
Okay.
I state you reasons almost to say you Chief Justice in floor.
Okay.
And yet I buy no and yet President no and I sorry so before you Chief Justice. Name Ghana for be more and I try come and buy some more person Chief Justice. And the President is only taking the steps and he has not missed any steps yet. Before jumping here
Mamen Kong Manson Samuel or Sabons Esquire, private legal practitioner, I'm in Indian Como. Lawyer, good morning. Me did me dance so what you tombs on everything come now. My entias here, Rana Pano, my Kaisa Supreme Court judgment in the case, the Chief Justice referred to it, but who now Tim Ranasi, President Enya petitioner, what should be the first thing also here?
I mean, Nnawotwe, I mean, chair of panel and of pay, I mean, chair of CFO. What the law says somehow is clear, somehow is not clear. Because the Constitution is just a skeleton, a fundamental law. Yet it doesn't contain every law in Ghana.
Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Article 146 have provided some procedural steps.
Exactly.
That must be followed.
Yes.
Before a superior court judge and the Chief Justice can be removed.
Yes.
Now, the first step, as we all know, is the presentation of a petition.
Yes.
If it is any other superior court judge, apart from the CJ, it should be presented to the CJ itself.
Yes.
If it is rather against the CJ, it should be presented to the president. And only the young say, see. Now, the question is, when the president receives the petition, what happens? The Constitution has stated the Oba Consultative Council of State to determine whether there is a prima facie case. It didn't say the president must first consult the Chief Justice before the consultation process can be triggered. But the question is, can we take that literal meaning and we will be fair to the CJ? Or can we take that literal meaning in the Constitution and say a prima facie case has been established and therefore a committee will be established for the removal to continue? And Nona Edimusu to say, yes, natural justice is part of common law, and common law too is part of our laws. Besides, when you take the Constitution, there is Article 23, which talks about administrative fairness. We also have Article 296, the treasury powers. It's part of our laws, and of course, part of the Constitution. So the idea is that if a prima facie case can be established, then a Council of State and the President should take the response. Of course, and yes, a Chief Justice had the evidence before a prima facie. That's not what we are saying. But we are just suggesting that for a proper prima facie case to be established, at least there must be a response from the CJ, even though it's not in the Constitution.
Yes.
But we must give the Honorable Vincent is in court trying to seek for interpretation of Article 146 to the extent that we must read Article 146 purposively. If yes, the Constitution wasn't clear, so Ajechum went to court to seek for interpretation. Now, there is no precedent, or there is no precedent with regards to this issue. The precedent that we have is Justice Utaderi versus Tiger Eye, where the court interpreted the justice now you're moving on. Also response before a prima facie case can be established. established. But as to the CJ, we don't have a precedent. So that is my view.
Okay.
Court natural justice, Article 123, Article 296 are all part of our laws. We should hear the CJ first before a prima facie case can be established.
Okay, so that what can you know sa akwete de ni na ajetwum de ni na de abom lawyer enti sisi aya presidency wama CJ 10 days so on fan response mbano what is the expectation of that? And again yenim say Vincent Senior Kayano omo ina ko Supreme Court with what the president has done. What happens to Vincent Mukase no?
Okay, I don't want to sound prejudicial, but in my view, the suit will be moot because all the relief that Honorable Vincent is seeking for is that the president didn't first wrote to the Chief Justice for her to respond to the petition before maybe consulting Council of State. But Mr. President Haye, Crown man of some days, the unfound a response in Embra. So I think the suit will be moot. That is my view.
Okay. All right. You may say, but I know what happened in Charlotte's case, because in Charlotte's case, petitions in the Crown and Sanka. So people try to say, if you look at Charlotte's case, then or request a petition, no, but the petitions and a committee baby, how is it different from this one?
So as I have already stated, Charlotte said, na the status a justice of court of appeal.
Yeah.
But this one we are talking about CJ, the head of the judiciary.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
There is a clear distinction between the two personalities.
Okay. Yeah.
When this petition succeeds, CJ na can one seminar. So she is a little bit above, Charlotte say. Charlotte said,
okay. Okay. The lawyer with the medasi for Nchechemo when you are and a pay Samuel Osubon Esquire, private legal practitioner on an outage and Indian common. Solomon Santi.
Before for the purposes of clarity, lawyers so 18, but someone read it letter, no, not Ghana see the tone of President letter. Oh, just 3 lines.
Also, President Mahama has received 3 petitions from various persons seeking the removal of Chief Justice. The President has forwarded the 3 petitions to the Council of State to commence the consultation process mandated by
consultation process. So all these things are part.
Yes.
They jump the gun.
No.
Because you don't. Wouldn't even say president, no. Okay.
Nobody has jumped any gun. Nemum, I can forward baby a bunny say one kasa utri one. Ye be you a bonny. Could you believe you me say mami we amba out in a humble manner. Antre krata ma antutu ansre o mampenis o panichel o mano eye petitions na ya treti ano no o mano copies na o mano copies we obese ansre o mano 7 days per no fa na no disem na response to those petitions na meto dwa and of course so say educating yen crap on the letter anymore say it is a combination of the evidence in the petition plus the response no e kan bomu a na betimi aboa sa consultation process na because omo betimi establish the prima facie case. Who is jumping which gun here? Yama me later. I see 2-3 days near let petition I have not been communicated to yet, but I want to because I didn't act timeously. It is at the end me sre man peni mami we mami nya we and I say the oka no enye say ye ni president senior ekasa enche bia no. Apart from Frank Ajechum case now, boy, any your friend is Derry, Justice Derry case. As well, I know Justice Derry, and this was the holding of the your friend is court. I think the Supreme Court, I think the prima facie decision required upon receiving a petition means examining available evidence to determine if the petition raises serious issues warranting further investigation. It is a raises serious issues. Be one further is going to push the committee, you know, because no, at the way they say, yeah, but how can you determine that prima facie case at the way serious? He has was here. Nipana accused and any claims against somebody. I was see it now this. Even do you know say since 2018 November, the practice direction be abba court. When you say court, you know, I was say one who this witness statements. Eko kanena nka obeko jina na wakan na ora. But you say no betro e dia ko. Na parties no ahani wenya we dia ko so that by the end of the day you call for trial na surprises will not be pulled. What him say? To person who the content of the petition and say no wako ekoba na say to sa friend na wako jina mo anim. E na wasa say saka no wetime yia no within 7 days at the among my period. And the say the president's tour ye craning in Justice Derry D.N. Tagapia 2016. I see this requires a response from the named respondent. If he has a named respondent or my response before making the prima facie determination. As this involves examining available evidence in a quasi judicial decision making. And so now Uba your friend is saying also ebisa questions be senior Kojo Anan Ankoma also ebisa I say prima facie determination by whom and how. Also article 146 requires that before the CJ sets up a committee to consider the petition to remove a judge, the CJ must establish that there is a prima facie case. However, the article is silent whether this prima facie case determination also applies if the CJ is the one against whom the petition has been filed. And if so, whom? By whom? And go for see the Supreme Court in Nigeria. I don't know befa ajechum there no. At the year analysis send a court. If the court went further to say certain things before appointing the committee to investigate a petition to remove a chief justice, the president and the Council of State should determine if the petition establishes a prima facie case. And by so doing, there is even advice that they should get a potentially they should seek advice from an independent lawyer. And your lawyer who believe say a party who party ni lawyer and as lawyer what the others ye bubenya obi or independent lawyer. Moma ne make consultation process or no the court suggested to a Council of States. Yes. Send ye be ya also the law no be advise woman in arriving at a conclusion as to whether a prima facie case has been established or even what elements are needed to arrive to be examined to arrive at a prima facie case establishment. What me say? Until we the only thing is said, Omampeni aye senior embrane children so on your competition. I say me answer. Immediately we forward your friend is saying Council of State. And yes, sir. Thank you. Anke hono e was say one on Council of State started consultation process, you know. Then taking a look at a presidency, you know. Next was so much the response of the Chief Justice, you know. Normally CCC normally I establish whether there's a prima facie case. Intino, Sebi, you establish a committee, and as there's no prima facie case, it's a but here, the CJ acted timeously to ensure say. Oh yes. Oh there. Me say one say Ghana. You know what? You know what is going on in Ghana here. Because
your problem.
No.
You are being hunted by your own this.
Your friend is saying.
Oh, everybody wanted
your friend is saying. What kasa ama obi lawyer na kire was say. CJ no issue no is a bit different from Charlotte Osei.
And the difference, no.
He told you so.
You here or the ultra part.
No. We are so. No. You don't make your comment. I detest the idea of compare apples with oranges, right? So once the learned friend senior has said, he said, no, it's a bit different. No, I take it. What you say, and you also agree to that. But near woman is saying, "Mammy just acted timeously to make sure say Sebi obeka say ni na anko wie chire say ye yine ibone." And I commend her for that because she herself has stated in the letter say obey CJ no and say no be say enumo san bi abanenim on the removal of other justices of the Superior Court. Emma said you follow the due process. Now, answer no be establish prima facie case. No making sure say obey the responses of judges. No, they are to petitions now about tier woman. Now, one yes, I don't go tier one side. And yeah, audio trepatem crew na ubridge. Say who go tier one side. Edia establishes said will there a prima facie case or not? No, prima facie case is the evidence plus the evidence in the claim plus the response of the one petitioner Babitiano. And nobody can see any. To show that there is a prima facie case. Then when they go to the committee now, Asana obe contenders or evidence be concerning near my actual evidence. No contender also the say that's it. But the prima facie case must be established based on two things.
Okay.
And the two things are the evidence contained in the claim made by the petitioner, plus the responses of the one who has been petitioned against.
Okay. All right. Yo, Mathematics. Hold on, Peter. Also, I will share with you between Afre. Near Tia Wajon Tia Fra. To my friend 0302211701, 0302211702, and 0302211703. Na ya found anyways in common. Just there fra about the natural baby a free fina more some why tia. No yanko so etum na when you be waka. Yes and okay, let's see. Let me try and read them commenting. Also there is on our page. Also the removal of the Chief Justice is guided by the Constitution of the country. Personally, it's worth noting it's worth nothing to petition against the Chief Justice. In this case, I believe President Mahama should respond to Chief Justice Tokono in a request and send copies of the petition to him. But so that I can say is a yes. The presidency has sent the petition to the Chief Justice. Ebenezer Odro Mensa and the way if he agonan quanta me crew made by to Facebook or Sydney Noya say you cannot wake someone who's pretending to be asleep. Okay, all right, you. Thank you very much. We so Eric Gedan so say good morning, bro. Okay, good morning to you too. Well, wait my friend. Now you know Edding Komo 0302211701 0302211702 0302211702. Mefa you know the calls me ba na mama mu nyina no minutes na mo dey wrap up na ego. Awal, good morning.
Good morning.
Me ba jo mami nte we.
We dey make us free afukukum.
Yo.
That's good. Na memfasa kwanya isu na mencha afukukum fo nyina. Dana ya tensem so.
Nsem dey tibi ba.
The whole nation ye container Ghana container etimi ayira free. Ye kan ve habo abla ye hu. Ani yeti bombu su Ghana for me ni ye. Because say habo kra na yetimi ayi niema upon security agencies here wo. Nyamensa na mebe Ghana.
Yo. Medasi Awal, Mamanko Mohammed, good morning to you, Maminteo.
Good morning. Pastor Nampom today.
Yanko Ponda Champa Papa, I'm getting there also way.
Yes, sir. Pastor, dressing a grass at Chedmasi.
Okay.
Chief Justice Assembly, no claim me, my journey, you need to watch it. Also resign because when Tema follow Mua, it may baho be for no knock with Yapon when not say a buying for Fraba, whom you also better not give. Could have banned it to Sunan Casaquanoco so Osaka minute or Gugana, you give this anymore into me Damas when I'm in Yajuma.
But Mohammed, but or they are careful.
I say it is doubt that Niano, this is doubt that Loma Ninian and Neneka.
Ah, yo, but Mohammed, but or they are careful. Anytime there's a change in government, some heads of key institutions or they actually. Ebenezer, good morning.
Good morning.
Ebenezer Maminteo.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I mean, I don't know who you say.
Masumuye Papa, senior.
Pocho, Damusu Swinde, Obandama, was the Insaraka, Oye, and judicial system. Ghana is at risk. Sunday, happened there, even there. Judicial should be independent.
Sure.
Whilst other arms of government should be independent. But about that, we interfere with the judicial service now. Although how no so although to a man but presidency the unity or the judicial so all independent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now man as being blame. About the tension I did never be busy, but go for super phone was I and my onset non factor. And that's the money I mean.
Masu Madase and Ebenezer Nasamono ties in with what Samokujuto said there. Obeyanke in the okay, no, that was Professor Bafo Adjumandia. Also, Obeyanke in the next constitutional review area, the appointment of even the Chief Justice should not be the soul of the president. Because like Ebenezer is saying, the political interference, you cannot take it out there. Alatusha, good morning.
Electrician, or officer town.
Yaya
electrician, or officer town.
Yaya electrician.
Electrician, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's more power than me. And I'm a them. I wish I watch it to I'm say, oh, quite ye.
I'm a quite ye. Many about
electrician. I wish I watch it to move quite ye. My bob, as I say, with the Ghana. Yenti obeye magana fuati ni ekoso na wanya kwa yi dedika mamentia kwa Ghana fu ina na mentia lawyer offended mi manfa ha kusi na IMPP ni kama chama Jombodu unim o hwe niam ekosisi ya kama yakase ya to ya carry TV akotoka kwa say minister ye de Ghana tumi amount utimbe press conference S1 no akọ parliament ye oka obeye ye ni different okọ parliament different say and the electricity cable and I refi Tema Harbour. Now I just was a United Ghana, a piano with Macachers light Ghana ni bien yapa papa. And this MPP and this yenio pass out 2 parties meeting say yeti electricity near my papa. Now yan Timini warehouse say be near Manakuku. The company ni ya. The 100 Ghana no ube piano be bakwa. Ni Germany managua ama ya catcher say Yamano. Company to me, na by say, will be reaton. You best say Ghana need be in your light. It is any among you where I'm picking this year, and I say, yet to Cotomono near that should be said because I dare you, yes, the mimic coming, I'm about to me, no, where you could warehouse, Minya, the Bakuna make Mapuya. Now, warehouse and Edia Mammy, Nemo Pionka. The Rebecca say, ye the electricity near because ye Timon Ghana, a buying warehouse and Pianica. Then they say, ye play game, and people and this man area. Nagana, you when you can't, you minister, don't me check him. Nay, ECG phone point for now, that is the Pia or Muye, or that's like a second. Ghana, you be so much. You miss no
Marty, Medasi. Yanko and Namanye are true slim in Zinkomo. True slim, good morning.
Good morning, Fakajo.
Maminte where?
Afakajano Payuba Juma Ghana, my, and this should be quite mine. Mamenta at the Moses coffee, I was on pray. Otium the day. Afakajo, Potocasem, Yafrabo Fubi, Yase punch your neighbor, punch your dream. To your young command, to your diem. Yakaipa, Savannah, and PT4 power. Na Yamame, a Bibia, a yes, I was saying. On person we you now ope cope keke. Mami can a man for cope ni bia man we you free ni post the bia wo. Then the one with chief justice or call it for copy our petition ho. Na e ya me de say John Mahama de yewura. Ono de onye nipa mu yimu na wonye tintin. Te say MPP for or the copy ni be mama me no. Na mama na hu say nya ono John Mahama e na bia o pese o yi no free o na mom eye na dwuma obeye ya anso Ghana fo ani. Eye na dwuma obeye ya wo ye nipa mu yimu eye dwuma obeye ya ye fi se enye yakoma so ese nti na Ghana fo mpani fo bi se ye wura Mahama ma min se mfatanti ni firi ho na minim se ma min akasa wo sokope na se okenkan a obewu se ampa Ghana fo deserve se e wo so mu ni firi sa post na owo no mu nti wada woro ma akismi ni makra me da se
yo me da se akismi na ode achuslem de ba no hey ode she babonsu Michao, Maminte was Maminte, Yakupon Dacha and Papa, Major Dacha was.
I bought Maminte for now, Bosso, say incoming national time, don't bother to see it. Another how Kusi. Just in quick one cabo, I'm a deep party, I'm not gonna Maya. A dear in the bed, Pamicha Potosia, whom Gabi. I know one baby. Kamya yese ye twesabidi ato na bofo mi so ba wi adwo ti an ko hu ni yi na mi no yan ka so obi ko fa nya no dru So we ban no we ban the coffee that because you see we say a military dictatorship a civilian and what's the name of the work of you when you have to a young person pensibuno and that come and work at the Yamatuka container see abbey. Sana nano ya say will be a good district million. I told you quite a class in you. That's what I've done one thing. That's what we continue to go coach here. Yakuna by your mom running in the Juma. So not only about neighbors, but differ. We are to Mamma Congal and Amen. I know I'm
what is about Peace Man? Good morning. Peace Man, Amanda, another way if you do. Okay, well, so my friend 0302211701 02211702. I can just speak one last call. Now, if you wrap up or so peace man into me, but you better me any pack that count now, yeah, so do in the next 5 minutes. 0302. Okay, so Frank is our last caller. Frank, what's then, Maminteo? Hello, Frank. Good morning, Frank. Oh, Frank, main television or the phone or the names come on. Okay, all right. Yeah, last caller now after, but once we wait for our last caller, member studio. Mamsha Solomon, let me pick your final thought.
My final thought. Say lawyer Owusu Bonsukan, you know. On person will preempt what the court will say. Our as a for honorable case, but with precedence, you know, any the principle of moot, you know, to me will say, as I say, mono, I didn't all and Casano. They say your claim, so there's no issue, there's no controversy now.
Okay.
Once there's no controversy, no, a day sooner, I judge for no quack.
Okay.
What me I say? I deny at that time, Sadi any any concern at the end. In this also. Ajobreo President tu anamo eyemra kwan so ye see Jesus eye appeal I no so ye na so agina mra kwan so but dey ba kwan wo se ye tie ase ne ye kase Ghana mra enye eno nkoane de ya tworo se constitution say be ye legislations ye statutes ye orders regulations other things so dey judicial precedents eyemra say ye wo ka say article 2 and article 130 no etimi emma a judge for the Supreme Court the powers of interpretation of what is in this. The same way, send here Article 33. Also, your friend is saying High Court so ultimately interpreting human rights so any fundamental freedom won't say no. Yes, send here yes interpretation now. Ebe ka emra no ho. It is send here yera Dr. SK that a ban in Frank Ejekum versus your friend is saying Attorney General any Bright Akwete no. Any dairy case, you know, saying in both, you know, the courts has established, say, it was said to establish a prima facie case, you know, it was said evidence now when you from the claim na nipano petition and the buyer, you know, it was usain su enya the second part, a complement, and so and that second part is the response of the person that has been petitioned against. That is
Gideon Kojo Esel on Facebook say. Please plead on behalf of the YEAs to be paid because we have not received our salaries for the past 3 months. When Peter Wahide Yamenfan Sumau, Gideon say Omsre Abain. YEA for no Yentuamuka.
Na Malik Basintali is in charge. He's really working out, trying to sort out, restructure the system. Okay,
Gideon. Ma Peter Kanye, me did the obey them. So, Peter, let me pick it.
Edin kind, Mestre Ghana for. There's no judicial interference here. Emra, any a juma. And you know, I'm starting my submission. Me say, Emra will find Emra who can see it me Chief Justice Nana. Article 146, I clarified that. And more was high impression say a judicial interference patch away any judicial interference. Emra, any a juma. The etosum, you know. Me patcho me can say in the statement, no, President can say, well, receive a petition. And at the next line, I said the President has forwarded the 3 petitions to the Council of State to commence the consultation process. And the consultation process, no, engaging the Chief Justice is part of the consultation process. Now, Chief Justice ni MPP for na koko bibliotechi womo ye den take action now and omo to say the President Mahama aside sideline obi epamocho. President Mahama is following the law and is guided by the Constitution part. Oh, Mami Boman, Mami, you have 2 minutes. And then I'll pass on catching me. Mami, making me last point. Oh, Mami, making me last point. My last point, you see, the law, the principle of natural justice, no. The only utterance pattern, fair hearing to it. It is not limited to only few people. So why now, Marshall, say, yeah, you were against the principle of natural justice. And then President Mahama,
please, no. Medasi, Nnawotwe Jumedi, Mamincha Vida, Mamincha Vida, watche, and David Asiedu, Ochina, Oyamemenda, okay, Memenda Crorbe. 5th April, Oyada Warrior War engagement ceremony war Oye Mfuma Disco Pentecost Mission House near Disco Pentecost Church. Okay, and see me wish you all the best. Nyame Adoma, Yebasari Yesha, and as well as Joshua Bible, I greet all of you. I Nyame Adoma, say yeah. Now to Mele. Good morning.